Hello, and welcome to another edition of It's Just Me. I'm Brent Fox. I am happy to report today that Dallas's own Sheretta Chiccn Metcalf is fighting tonight on an MVP card on ESPN. I believe that she is the headliner against Amanda Galle, and that fight card, I believe, starts 7 p.m. Central Standard Time or 8 p.m. Eastern Standard. Um, and I cannot wait to find out whether or not Chicken is going to wind up being a two division champion. Now, what I will say is that the odds are definitely stacked against her. Amanda Galle is an excellent fighter. Best known as a sniper or a counterpuncher, who throws very well placed punches and has an excellent jab. Um, I think that if Chicken tries to swarm or come forward and throw and try to throw punches in bunches, um, without maybe any real strategy, then unfortunately I think Galley can pick her apart and then be able to win the fight pretty convincingly. Now, what I will also say is this: Chicken has a very unique fight style. Now, she has vastly improved as a boxer. She is able to actually get behind her jab pretty well and then be able to throw punches in bunches just based off of that. But Chicken is a rhythm fighter. She has to be able to have a rhythm built up, and if she doesn't, then basically, or if she's thrown off that particular rhythm, then what happened with Shamika Johnson is probably going is now. I don't think it's going to be to that extent to where she stopped, but I think that she could have a bad night if her rhythm is thrown off. Now, as proud as I am of Chicken Metcalf and the things that she's actually done for this particular city to put us on the map, and as much as I personally love that, I have to be objective in actually giving boxing information, or I'm not credible. So that being said, of course, Gale is favored to win this particular fight, and some pundits have even gone as far as just saying that she'll win by a huge majority decision. It'll be one-sided, things of that nature, and I think that they're doing that because they're looking at Chicken's box record and just kind of discounting how she has actually developed as a boxer or fighter in the professional ranks. Three of the five losses that these people are actually looking at were very early in her career. She lost her debut, for starters. But I think that what people really need to look at is the resilience and how she was able, even though she did take losses along the way, how she was able to actually improve and get better as a fighter, and then eventually claim a championship. Now, people probably best know her for her series against Mio Yoshida, and needless to say, those two do not like each other at all. But I'm thinking here that if Chicken is able to get into a rhythm, establish her jab, because she does have a height and I think a reach advantage over Gale. If she keeps her at the end of the jab, builds a rhythm, and then is able to pick her apart, able to force Gale to try to work her way in, then I think that's probably the best strategy for Metcalf. That way, the fight comes to her, and then she doesn't have to necessarily try to bring the fight to Galle and play right into her hands. Now, what I will also say is this: I think it's very important that Chiccn is able to do a decent amount of body work to kind of like keep Galle honest. I think if she is gonna try to go for her head again, Galle is a very good boxer, and even though she did get cut very badly against Johnson, she does display good fundamentals, and that does include head movement from time to time, or blocking, as a matter of fact, from time to time of incoming shots. So I do think that even though Chiccn does have her work cut out for her, if she takes advantage of her physical advantages, she has a best chance to win that way. I think if she is able to make Galle try to come in and fight her, then she's going to play right into Chickn's wheelhouse. And I think that if Chiccn is actually able to build a rhythm, she could be victorious. Now, what I will also say, I saw 3 of Galle's fights. And I know there was one against Hernandez. There was one against a sister from New York. I can't pronounce her last name. And then she also had that fight with, of course, Shamika Johnson. But there was another fight that I also watched. So it was 4 against someone early in her career. Now, the consistent theme was that Galle, who has an extensive combat background because she did martial arts actually before she did boxing, and then she did have somewhat of a good amateur career. I think that I think with those particular factors in place, you're going to have to take advantage of whatever you have against someone like that. Especially with someone who has an extensive background in combat. But one thing I did notice about Galle is this: when she actually throws her shots, she'll set back up straight, and she could be open to an attack. So, in other words, if she comes in and basically just kind of like 1, 2, 3s it, and then just kind of pops up and resets, at that particular point in time, you could pick off that 3rd shot and just come back with your own shots, and you may be able to A, throw her off her own rhythm, and then B, more importantly, establish your own. So I think little things like that, if you're able to catch her trying to reset, then that could be a huge factor in that particular fight. Now, I know me doing this show, she's probably not going to be able to see it until after the fight. Me doing this particular show, the day of the fight, and then doing a breakdown and analysis and all of that, it's probably not going to do no good. But that's what the training camp is for. This is supposed to help you get ready and find out what tells the other boxer is showing, and then how to take advantage of those particular tells as well. And I also think that Chiccn also has should have like a good coaching staff. I think that she probably knows that. If I know that, I believe that she probably knows that as well. So, I do wish her all the best, and I'm proud of her either way. If it doesn't turn out the way that we believe that it should, and Galle actually wins the belt, so be it. But me being from Dallas and knowing where this woman has come from, and what I mean by that is this lady was at a certain location on Mondays, fighting in cages against people twice her size, making these people quit, or actually just beating them senseless, like literally beating them senseless. And to come around and be a world champion at one point in time is remarkable. It is remarkable. And I couldn't be prouder of somebody that has actually come from some place like that and then gone on to be a world champion. So, Chicken, we proud of you. Either way this turns out, we proud of you. We really are. And we know you're gonna represent for Dallas already, baby, already. And you know, I certainly it is certainly my hope that you are able to bring that belt back home to Dallas. We gonna celebrate if you do that. So yeah, we ready for we ready to throw the little parade or celebration for you once you bring home that belt. So we'll see. Galle is not. I think she's like I don't know what the betting odds are because I don't bet or anything like that, but I'm sure that she's highly favored to win that particular fight because of her extensive combat background. But again, Chicken, just take advantage of your advantages, baby, and hopefully you bring that belt home, man. Hopefully you bring that belt home. We ready to celebrate in Dallas if you do, and we ready to celebrate you in Dallas if you don't. Like if you giving it your best and it just didn't turn out the way that it need to, there are still some people like myself that are still celebrate and appreciate you for what you actually doing out there, and then how you are representing us here in Dallas. So, big salute to Sheretta Chiccn Metcalf. Now, I know I got this Steelers hat on, but that's a different story. Y'all gonna have to look at my first show to kind of explain that. But the brief synopsis is I just can't do the Cowboys, okay? Everything else is local, but I just can't do the Cowboys. Speaking on another note here, I watched a very powerful, or listened to rather, a very powerful episode of Queens of the Ring, or Queens of Boxing Talk. I'm sorry, Queens of Boxing Talk. Whew, Lord. I don't want to get in trouble for saying the wrong name or something. So it's Queens of Boxing Talk that are on YouTube Saturday mornings, usually around 11 a.m. or 12 noon, depending on when they decide they're going to do the show. And then Sundays, they do it usually around, I'd say probably like 7, 8, or 9 p.m. It's a black show, so you got to guess. But a very powerful message was actually presented, and I want to make sure that I reiterate that. And that particular message is just basically to love yourself and be proud of who you are. Because, and I'm not saying anything. Let me go ahead and do the disclaimer first. Just because I'm giving a message about my black people loving themselves does not mean that I am trying to project or tell my people to hate anybody else. All right. I want to make that plain as plain as day. Just because I love me don't mean I hate you. All right. Now, I'm not going to take no shit off you because I love who I am. But again, this message is for my black people. And if you don't like people giving positive message to folks that actually look like them, or you don't like people actually just trying to uplift, black people. If you're not going for something like that, please hit the like button and you can leave. Now, my message is this. There has to be some point where you have to look in the mirror and choose yourself at some damn point in time. Now, sports, especially boxing, because it's very tribal and very it's very national and heritage based, and let's just call it what it is. It's very race based too. If you don't take pride in who you are as an individual, then I don't know what to tell you, to be quite honest with you. I don't. I think part of the disconnect that we actually have as Black people is just not knowing our family history. I think if we actually know our family history, then that could actually expound or expand into national Black history, which we can all take pride in. All right. You got to know your family history to better understand yourself. You have to know Black American history to basically understand the impact that we've had on this particular nation. I think that is vital. And I think that it is crucial that we actually learn those things in order to not only survive here in America, but to thrive again. It is clear and apparent that nobody else of any other race is just going to go out of their way to help you. All right. And the fact that we have to quote unquote side eye each other or look at each other sideways because somebody's saying something that you don't like or you don't agree with, or you think that you think that they too braggadocious or talk too much or whatever. I mean, I think that that kind of boils down to how you feel about yourself. And if that doesn't improve, then, you know, neither is a situation for us as a whole. Okay. There was a point in time where we had to depend on each other just to make sure that we were going to be okay and survive. Now, anytime that we've actually built something up, it was torn down by other people. The history books will never tell you anything like that. But again, anything that we've actually tried to build for ourselves and pull ourselves up by our bootstraps and all that other good stuff that they talk about and quit complaining and start doing and all of that, we've done that. But what you all have done is you have found your way to either infiltrate that particular setting and then tear it from the inside out, or you have full on taken advantage of your resources to actually just, and I'm going to say it, to actually just kill off whatever we've actually built. So, again, I think with this particular leadership and the people that are actually in charge, especially in my great state of Texas, who has done something ridiculous, like literally imprison people for a gram of weed. But again, I think the laws on methamphetamines or fentanyl or anything else that or cocaine, anything that the other folks actually use, that's not it. There are harsh penalties for it, but it's nowhere near as harsh as that. I think that you could probably get caught with double the amount of grams of probably some of these other things, and not get as stiff a penalty. So it starts with things like that, and we need to make sure that we are actually aware of what these people in charge are actually doing. I think that's imperative. And again, that just kind of goes back to loving yourself and kind of figuring out, how you want to actually navigate. For those that actually are trying to raise children in this particular world, it gives you much to think about. I think that is vastly important that we show some sort of self-pride and we show some sort of love towards each other and build community. Now, one thing that actually did stand out when I was listening to the Queens of Boxing talk this morning was there was a challenge issue to my LDBC family. Boxiana, who is a menace, mentioned that for whatever reason, the LDBC was not standing as strong as we once were, as far as being proud to be Black and being able to kind of gatekeep things, so to speak. and we are now suffering because of it. Now, I haven't noticed that. Now, just because I haven't noticed that type of significant drop off doesn't mean that it's not there. So, to that, I say challenge accepted. Um, I take pride in who I'm in. I mean, I take pride in who I am. I love who I am. And, I'll be damned if somebody actually tries to make me feel bad about who I am. Point blank and period. Um, I just kind of feel myself um, getting ready to have an out of body experience. And before I do that, I want to make sure that I end this on a positive note and just mention that, hey, um, getting back to the subject of the show, uh, Sheretta Chiccn Metcalf, we proud of you regardless of the results tonight, and Dallas stands with you. Already, baby, already. It's definitely 214 for sure in this. So, we ready to see you. We ready to see you take that belt back home, baby. We ready to see you take that belt back home. Now, on a also ending it on a positive note, my LDBC brothers, particularly the chain of brothers that I'm with, please check out Growing with Soul. He has a gardening channel. If you are interested in educating yourself on how to grow and cultivate things, please watch that channel. It's called Growing with Soul. My brothers, Coach 67 Sports TV and Jared 011 Green, have a wide variety of shows that they actually have on YouTube. Please check them out. And while you're doing that, if you sip on anything, please sip responsibly, by the way. Please go to www.oldhillsidebourboncompany. www.oldhillsidebourbonco and then .com, I believe, and then check out actually what they have to offer. Now, what I will say is this, man, I'm not trying to chase anybody away, but it is a black-owned company, and I'm proud to announce that. Please, uh, please partake responsibly, as I mentioned, and then please check out my brother's content as well. This is Brent Fox. It is just me, and I'll holler at y'all the next time.